What's up, cinephiles? My name is TJ and welcome to Cinemateq. It's time for us to take a look back at the news stories that made headlines this week in the film world. I'm sure we've got a tasty story just for you. We're going to start off with the Cannes Film Festival and their inability to go even a day into their festival without a major controversy. As you know, the Cannes Film Festival kicked off on May 14th. And how did they decide to celebrate the opening of such a prestigious film festival? Was it a film premiere? Was it celebrities walking down the red carpet? Well, I mean, yeah, it was those things. But they also decided not to allow a mother and her child onto the festival grounds. British director Greta Bellamacina, who came to the festival with her new film Hurt by Paradise that is screening in the market section of the festival, attempted to enter the festival with her 4-month-old child and was denied. According to The Guardian, Bellamacina was allowed into the accreditation section of the festival with her child after much stressful debate, and was then told that her buggy, which I assume is British for stroller, would have to enter in through a different entrance. To top it all off, she was then told that her child would require a delegate pass to enter. Those passes cost €300 each. So it's not exactly what I would call cheap. Bellamacina agreed to pay the price and to have her child given a delegate pass, but she was then told that the payment would take 48 hours to process and was asked to leave the site. The irony of all of this is that this is the first year that Cannes has instituted a new policy called La Belle en Rouge to make it easier for parents coming to the festival with small children. La Belle en Rouge offers additional passes for a nanny and a baby, as well as breastfeeding and baby changing rooms, easy access for young children in strollers, and a dedicated children's area. Cannes organizers have said that they are looking into the situation, but have not said anything about it beyond that. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this little controversy that opened up their big festival. Weirdly enough, this is not the first controversy to play havoc at the festival this year. As was previously reported by other outlets, Alain Delon, the French actor most famous for his role in Le Samurai, is being given a Lifetime Achievement Award for acting at the festival this year. The bad thing about this? Well, Alain Delon doesn't believe that same-sex couples should be able to adopt children, and he's admitted to slapping women. Not exactly the kind of person you want to be giving an award to. Thierry Firmin, the artistic director of Cannes, defended the decision by saying that they were honoring Delon as an artist and were paying tribute to his accomplishments in the film industry, which have nothing to do with his political opinions. And to be frank, that is not the best defense of the actions of the festival. Add to all of this, the festival has also been accused of not seriously committing to its gender parity guidelines that it set out last year. Complaints came through when it was revealed that only 27% of the directors in competition at Cannes this year would be women. Firmin signed a pledge promising to make the festival's selection process more transparent and to push their executive boards towards gender parity. Now, obviously, nowhere in that statement does the artistic director of Cannes talk about the gender parity of the competitors in the festival. And I think it's important to remember here that during the selection process, there was gender parity between the people who were selecting the films. 50% men, 50% women. And the low number of women in competition is just more a reflection of the amount of women who are actually making films right now. Eventually, as that number begins to shift up due to other initiatives being taken on all across the world, we will start seeing more women in competition at Cannes. Now, what I find interesting about all three of these controversies is that they bring up very specific conversations that are happening and need to be happening in the film industry right now. And the first one is pretty cut and dry. If you are a mother who has a young child, you should be able to bring your kid into wherever you're doing, especially if it's not an actual screening and just the festival itself. So, Cannes, you can do a lot better on that one, you jerks. As we talked a bit about before, the debate about whether or not we can separate art from artist is an important debate to have, especially now that we're finding out that so many people who were integral to film history are actually trash people. But what I think we need to start doing proactively is stop giving awards to the people that we know are trash. Maybe we can separate the art from the artist, but that doesn't mean that we have to give the artist an award. And I think Cannes can do better in this respect as well. And finally, the issue of gender parity at film festivals is an ongoing conversation. And credit where credit is due, Cannes Film Festival laid out some guidelines for themselves. They followed them. Going forward, I think we can all agree that they can do more, that they can take the example of other film festivals like the Toronto International Film Festival and be a bit more progressive in terms of making sure that the films of women and the stories that they are telling find the broadest audience possible. All right, so we've spent enough time on Cannes. Let's start talking about some new restorations that are going to be coming your way very shortly. The first one is a 1976 action thriller from Umberto Lenzi called The Tough Ones. And it is getting a pristine, awesome 4K restoration thanks to Grindhouse releasing. Lenzi was a prolific filmmaker from the 1960s into the 1980s, directing films in major Italian subgenres from crime to giallo to cannibal, with his most well-known film being Cannibal Ferox.
Do you want the laugh in there?
Yeah. The Tough Ones will be presented in its unrated, uncensored director's cut for its Blu-ray release, and some new special features will include brand new interviews with the director and some of the actors who are also involved in the film. That 3-disc Blu-ray set will be available on July 9th. And just like clockwork, the Criterion Collection has announced the films that will be coming to you this August. We're going to be getting 4 feature films and 1 box set. The features include The Inland Sea by Lucia Cara, which is getting a 4K restoration, An Angel at My Table by Jane Chapin, that's getting a new HD transfer, The Flavor of Green Tea Over Rice by Yasujiro Ozu, which is getting a brand new 4K restoration, very excited about that, and Magnificent Obsession by Douglas Sirk, which is getting a brand new HD remaster, which I'm also very excited about. The box set that I mentioned, well, that's going to be Abbas Kiarostami's The Koker Trilogy, a set of 3 films that all happened at the beginning of his career, where he kind of announced to the world that he was someone worth watching, and they are named for the northern Iranian town of Koker, where each of the films takes place. All 3 of the films included in the set will be receiving a brand new 2K restoration. Can't wait to check that out once it eventually comes to the Criterion channel, hopefully very, very soon. Finally, I want to end today with something that I wanted to highlight for all of you to check out. On May 14th, the New York Times published an article about a Tunisian film festival that is actually pretty special. The reason? It's an LGBTQ film festival in a country where being a homosexual is outlawed. The festival, called the Mawjoudin Queer Film Festival, wrapped up its 2nd year at the end of March. They've already announced they're going to be doing it all again in 2020, and we want to wish them the best of luck with their endeavor. We wish them all the success in the world. They're doing great things with that festival. If you want to read more about it, we're going to be leaving a link to the New York Times article in the description below, along with links to all of the other stories that we talked about today. That said, we are now at the end of this news brief, Cinephiles, so thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and come back next week where we're going to have another video for you talking about all of the news that made waves in the film industry that week. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.